Hi Sagittarius, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of January. It's really tough to say Happy New Year given the year that we've all had. And we dealt with the historical Capricorn year of death and collapsing of old structures and transformation on the global level. And it's been a very difficult time for all of us working within these very restrictive conditions. And for you, this historical lineup of planets in Capricorn occurred in your house of income and what you value and how you earn money. And Saturn had been transiting in that house for you from December 20th of 2017. And it exited that house on December 17th and entered the sign of Aquarius. Jupiter, which is the grand benefic and is actually the ruler of your sign, entered Capricorn on December 2nd of 2019, and it left there on December 19th and also entered the sign of Aquarius. And the two met up on the winter solstice at 0 degrees and 29 minutes of Aquarius, and on the 21st of December. And this falls in your house of learning and teaching and local community, and it's all about communication of all forms. It's very exciting. It's really good for networking. If you have your own business, it's excellent for marketing yourself, for going back to school, for learning. So many possibilities, and really for helping locally as we dive into the infinite possibilities that the age of Aquarius represents, because Aquarius is about futuristic thinking and technology and community and connection and brilliance, among other things. It's also about chaos and upheaval, and it's about the future and really shaking things up and waking us up to ascend to a new age. So we begin January on the 1st with Mercury, which is the planet of communication and is transiting in your house of income and what you value. And it forms what's known as the sextile, which is a very helpful aspect to Neptune, the planet of imagination and dreams. And Neptune's transiting in your house of home and family. And that's a really good energy for manifesting comfort and security and potentially financial opportunities with real estate, or if you have your own business or something, just whatever you want to manifest. Really nice way to start the year. On the 4th of January, Mercury meets up with Pluto in the sky, and that could bring, that could be harsh energy with communication, but it's excellent for investigation and for research. On the 6th of January, Mars enters the sign of Taurus. It had been transiting in Aries from June 27th, or since June 27th. It's been transiting in that sign, and now it enters Taurus, where it will be until March 5th of this year. And it was in your house of creativity and children and self-expression and romance. And whether it was old lovers returning or focusing on your creativity or on romance, now the energy is really about getting things done, taking care of yourself, getting your habits together, your health regimen, really good for starting the year with a healthy new routine and really getting busy, okay? On the 8th of January, Venus leaves your sign and enters the sign of Capricorn, where it'll be transiting until February 2nd in your house of income and what you value. And this is good for financial opportunities, for creative opportunities, definitely good for bringing money in, and for focusing on what you want to create. On that very same day, Mercury also changes signs and enters the sign of Aquarius, transiting in your house of communication and learning and local community. And it's going to be in this sign until March 15th. And it's exalted there, it's brilliant, it's very innovative. But what's interesting too is it's giving us a preview of what Saturn and Aquarius is going to be about the next couple of years, because Mercury is going to transit 26 degrees of Aquarius and retrograde on January 30th, and there are only 4 degrees it doesn't transit. So it gives us a preview of basically the entire time of Saturn in Aquarius. So pay attention to the stories that surface, to what you want to learn more about, what you need to brush up in your skills, because again, it's a lot about marketing and learning and teaching and getting involved in your local community the next couple of years. And on the, let's see, on the 11th of January, we have a really beautiful energy. Mercury meets up with Jupiter in the sky at 5 degrees of Aquarius in your house of thoughts and ideas. Excellent for manifesting, for brainstorming, for dealing with others, all forms of negotiations, and also both of them form a sextile to Chiron, the wounded healer, and that's really good for healing work and focusing your energy on that. So really nice day. 12th of January, it's a little more tough because Venus squares Chiron, the wounded healer, that day, and there could be wounds around habits or around romance or just feeling a bit vulnerable. And Mercury in Aquarius squares Uranus in Taurus, and that could bring unexpected news. That can be very hectic energy and just a little bit more chaotic. On the 13th of January, we have a new moon that takes place at 12 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 23 degrees and 13 minutes of Capricorn. And this falls in your house of income and what you want to create. A new moon is always a good time for setting new intentions, but this new moon is a difficult one because it speaks back to the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that took place on January 12th that changed the world, and we'll all get more stories about that in our own lives and in the world events. And also Mars squares Saturn in the sky that day, and that can feel very restrictive and held back. And Mars is transiting in your house of work, and it's squaring Saturn in your house of communication. So there could be challenges with clients or just, with getting things done. And let's see. On the following day, Uranus stations direct at 6 degrees of Taurus in your house of work, and we feel that energy 5 days before and 5 days after. And in modern astrology, Uranus rules the sign of Aquarius. In ancient astrology, Saturn rules Aquarius. So Saturn is still transiting in its rulership in Aquarius, but it's not as harsh as when it was in Capricorn. But Uranus is more the upheaval and chaos and brilliance that encapsulates Aquarius. And so we feel all of those keywords really emphasized in the middle of the month. So expect the unexpected, a lot of chaos, upheaval. And on the 14th, the sun also meets up with Pluto in the sky, and that can bring more endings and just underscore the challenges of that legendary conjunction that occurred last January. On the 17th of January, Jupiter squares Uranus in the sky, and that can bring unexpected opportunities financially and for work. It can also exaggerate all the chaos of the Uranian energy in the middle of the month, so it'll be a very busy middle month, I think. On the 19th of January, the sun enters Aquarius, where it'll be transiting until February 19th in your house of communication and networking. Excellent for pitching ideas, for really marketing yourself in the beginning of the year and really focusing what you want the next couple of years to be in that way, because there's so much you can learn and teach and market in the next couple of years. On the 20th of January, we have more of a challenging energy. Mars meets up with Uranus in the sky in your house of work and daily routine, and you could just feel really stressed out. There could be challenges at work. People are going to be really easily triggered that date, so just realizing that's a volatile day. On the 23rd of January, there's much easier energy. Venus in your house of income forms a lovely sextile to Neptune in your house of home and real estate. That could bring excellent financial opportunities and creative opportunities. Mars in Taurus squares Jupiter in Aquarius, and that means you'll probably be really busy, but also expanding the options and opportunities of that date. On the 26th of January, there's more chaotic energy because the sun in Aquarius in your house of business and communication and commerce squares Uranus in the sky in your house of work. So you might be very busy, but just kind of frenetic and crazed energy. And Neptune in Pisces squares the nodes of fate, and the nodes are transiting in your house of self and your house of relationships, and that can bring very spiritual and romantic and creative opportunities, but can also just be very hectic and crazed, as I mentioned. On the 28th of January, we have a full moon that takes place at 2:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at 9 degrees and 6 minutes of Leo. And this falls in your house of higher education and manifesting and learning. And it's a good day for bringing completion to things you've been working on or learning or studying. On that date, Venus meets up with Pluto in your house of income. And that can be very romantic energy, but it can also be and creative, but it can also be very stormy emotionally, and it can be challenging financially. That's a date that, you know, I wouldn't necessarily make big financial endeavors. If something comes, an opportunity comes, that's another thing. Or if you've been working on something and it comes to fruition, that's great. On the 30th of January, Mercury retrogrades at 26 degrees of Aquarius, and it will remain in Aquarius until March 15th. Again, it's brilliant in Aquarius, and it's giving us all a preview of what the next couple of years are going to be. It's a big time for all of us. The age of Aquarius is very exciting. A lot of opportunities to connect and to learn. So I wish you a lot of luck. Thank you very much. Bye.